with the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia there. So he kind of appointed himself. I want to go through some of the things together, Alex. And again, this is what makes the Fox News Live really a good forum for this. We can break it down. One of the things he says was when he got this case, some people thought that this case was on life support. He says that unlike family members who must make the emotional decision to withdraw ones, he says he has no emotional connection to this case, which is one of the reasons why. He goes into detail a timeline starting with a December 14th, 2020 kind of phone call there, which is all of this is going around where now President, again, Donald Trump, then President Donald Trump was going out. Remember, Joe Biden was coming in for the president. So a lot of different things in different terms to go through. He made a phone call to officials here asking for more votes, or that was what was alleged here. But he goes through each one here, 22 pages, and goes through his philosophies and beliefs. One thing I thought was kind of important to mention, he says, given the substantial constitutional, federal, and state issues implicated in his case, the length of time, which he also makes really points throughout all of this, and the court's interest is some of the reasons why he says that he wants to, or he's moving for this to be dismissed. Some notes that I've jotted down. He also went through different characters in this case, right? Of course, we know the biggest character and the most well-known would be now President Donald Trump. Then he was on his way out as the new president, Joe Biden at the time, was coming in. But Mark Meadows, Jeffrey Clark, David Schaefer, other Republican electors, he went through and gave really a account of why he believes each of these cases or the counts should be dismissed. But at the end, he also says overt acts such as arranging a phone call, in which we've seen, issuing a public statement, tweeting to the public to watch the Georgia Senate committee. He goes through all of that, says are not acts I would consider sufficient to sustain a RICO case. And this is where District Attorney Fani Willis was making her case in. He says that he spent a lot of time there. And at the end of this, he ends it by saying he knows that there's a deep political divide in this country right now. He says this decision will not be universally popular. He goes on to say that he knows people will criticize. He welcomes people to criticize their public officials, but he also ends it by saying threats and violence has no place in that process. Going through all of that, he says his assumption here, or his motion, has been guided based on evidence of the law and principles of justice here. So this is a 22-page document that we've been going through. We're still going through with the fine-tooth comb here. We know Pete Scandalakis will not have any comments there, but we did reach out to the district attorney's office, Fani Willis. Now, this is the day before Thanksgiving. I'm sure she probably is not thankful for this. I would assume this is not what she wanted to have happened there, but we did reach out to her office, and hopefully we'll get some sort of a statement back. We'll be reaching out, especially I'm curious to see what our Georgia gang members, those on both sides of the aisle, is this something that is welcome? Is this something that's going to be controversial? This will definitely be a talker for many people over their Thanksgiving tables tomorrow.
Oh, it certainly will. And when you think at the beginning of Fani Willis's time in this position, she came out with that hammer in full force, saying she was coming after President Trump and all of his allies. She said that there was going to be some sort of ramification for this. It seems like as of right now, that just might not be the case. You
know, you and I both covered the big ceremonious when he turned himself in through the streets of Atlanta, the amount of resources.
Who could forget that mugshot?
The mugshot, you know, the resources, the amount of money and time that this has been. And that was another thing that he kind of mentioned throughout here. By the time the president would be able to stand trial to this, it would be 8 years removed since that phone call. He can't go to trial, be prosecuted while he's in office. And even if you went maybe the day after he left office, he says that an immediate trial would be impossible. So who knows what timeline we would be facing for this. So of course we are combing through this. We are, look, all hands on deck in the newsroom as we are focusing and trying to get the major points, and we'll have the latest for you at noon and 2, 3, and all the newscasts for the rest of today.
Yeah, we know you're on top of it, Eric. Thank you for that. We do have some more urgent news for you this hour. The search is on for a missing nonverbal teenager. We've been talking about this all morning now. He was last seen in Baldwin County wearing a yellow shirt and gray bottoms. We want to turn our attention now to Billy Heath, who has the very latest on this search for this young man. Billy, I can hear the crews behind you. Can you talk us through what's happening now?
Hey, good morning, Alex. Yes, I'm on the ground here in Baldwin County where the search is underway for Jeffery Epps. They tell me this is day 3 of the search. I shot some video that we can go ahead and show our viewers of just the massive amount of people who are here at this scene. That's the first thing that struck me when I arrived, is it's hard to find a place to park. There are hundreds of cars here. They are conducting what's called a grid search. So the deputy fire chief told me that they're passing out segments of a map to every volunteer that shows up, and they'll be searching those segments. That way they can cover, as much ground as possible. I talked to volunteers showing up. They just want Jeffery to be returned to his family for the holidays. The advice that I was given is that if you do come in contact with Jeffery, he is nonverbal autistic, so he may run from you. The best thing you can do is just call 911, let the authorities step in and try to comfort Jeffery, bring him home, reunite with him with his family. But the thing that strikes me again is just the turnout. The search is underway, and authorities very much want to bring 15-year-old Jeffery home. As you mentioned, the last thing he was wearing, a yellow shirt and some gray shorts, last seen on Torrance Road. That's the latest here in Baldwin County. Alex, back to you.
Okay, Billy, we appreciate it. We know that family appreciates it. They want him home, literally, for the holidays. Thanks for that. We do want to pivot now and talk about what the weather is doing. But first, you're taking a live look outside at the downtown connector, because it's my understanding ATL DOT is essentially removing some of the issues that you might have run up on if you were traveling on any other day. So they're trying to remove some of the barriers that would start up some traffic trouble if you're headed out to your holiday destination. But it is a live look outside that gives us a sense of what the weather is not doing. It is not raining right now. We love to report that. So let's check in with Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Jonathan Stacy. Gosh, yesterday was a mess, caused some ground stops at the airport, but today it's a much different story.
By day and by night, we had 2 rounds of rough weather yesterday, but all that is now in our rearview mirror as those storms have exited off the coast. And so if you're trying to make your way up the I-95 corridor, you may run into a shower or two, but by and large, high pressure is taking over the eastern half of the nation, and that is not only clearing things out, but is bringing in some cold air. If you want it to feel like Thanksgiving, you're going to have that fall-like chill upon us in no time. You can see here temperatures are crashing up to the north, even as the sun comes up over the horizon on this Wednesday morning before Thanksgiving. Temperatures in the 40s from Memphis to Nashville, all the way out to Little Rock, Arkansas. But you can see that there are some 60s, and that's where we find Atlanta smack dab in the middle at 65 degrees. We'll try to grow that number, perhaps linger around the 65-degree mark for a couple hours, and then the numbers are going to start trending downward even during the daylight hours, and that's because the winds are going to pick up out of the northwest. So be quite gusty at some points in time throughout the afternoon going into the evening hours as we switch air masses. A drier and cooler air mass will give us some pretty potent winds as it comes in, knocking on the door. By the time we get to 9 o'clock tonight, it will already feel like it is on the cusp of dropping down into the 40s. That's here in the metro area, or I should say in the 30s. In and across the mountains, you will find feels like temperatures around 28 degrees, and that's just at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight. By 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, turkey trotters, this is what you're up against. You will not have any rain out there. You won't have any wintry weather, but it will feel like winter up there in the mountains. 25 degrees for a feels like temperature, 30 degrees for a feels like temperature. Here in the metro area, dropping down to about 38 degrees on the thermostat. In terms of the next 24 to 48 hours, you can see that the temperatures are going to keep on crashing here, and we're not going to rebound greatly at any point in time as we get into the second half of the holiday period. Speaking of Friday, specifically 18 for a feels like number, that's how we're going to kick off the morning. It's going to be bone chilling out there, 28 degrees. So that is really kind of the drop point of it all. That's going to be our deepest chill that we'll have of the weekend. The numbers are going to start coming back up slowly but surely into the actual weekend. But for Thanksgiving, this is what we're looking at. Temperatures some 7 to 10 degrees below average in terms of highs. starting out in the 30s. We'll spend the majority of the day in the 40s, and then we'll try to stick our head above the 50-degree mark to reach a high of 53 degrees. And then Black Friday, once again, that's when we get the big punch of cold air taking over. If you're still one of those doorbuster shoppers, you like to get out early before the sun comes up to catch some deals, you're going to need to bundle up. And I hope there are no lines outside of the shops and stores, because it is going to be frigid out there and you are not going to want to hang outside for long. Our problems will be of a different variety as we get into the second half of the weekend. Rain comes back into the picture, and that could impact Thanksgiving travel. So for today, nice across the southern United States, but showers exiting the eastern half of the nation. Lake effect snow in charge for the Great Lakes. In terms of mountain snow, you'll find that in Idaho and in Montana. We're looking at another round of storms moving in as rain across the Pacific Northwest. That's tomorrow. Overall, things are pretty nice for Thanksgiving Day from sea to shining sea. A wintry mix on the way by Friday as a storm develops. Lake effect snow still going across the Great Lakes Friday. By the time we get to Saturday, should not be Sunday, we'll be watching a winter storm develop across the Midwest as it moves out of the Great Plains. Thunderstorms for the southeast, and we'll be watching that system as it once again greets us by the time we get to the latter day of the weekend, which is Saturday. So when we put all that together, here's your 7-day forecast here. Here's the plan. We're going to turn on the atmospheric faucet as we kick off or end the month of November and kick off December, and it's going to be hard to turn it off. A really rainy start to the week to come.
Okay, well, I'll be mentally prepared for that. Before I let you go, I want to point out that we've got some people watching on our Fox 5 Atlanta YouTube channel, and I want to know if any of you are the doorbusters that Jonathan was talking about. He's been talking about this for the past couple of days now. If you're the kind of person to brave the cold still, even though these deals are only 5%, 10%, 20% off, if you're that person, we want to hear from you. Yeah,
I know for some people it's more of a tradition rather than it is a financial incentive. So I know families, some friends still want to get out there and do the thing. You can do it weather worry free. It's just going to be chilly. It is just going to be downright frigid out there as you enjoy your Black Friday.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you. We appreciate it. All right, that said, I warned you at the beginning of this news conversation we were going to talk quite a bit about the holidays, the weather, the travel, and the shopping. That was my segue into this. So we're taking a live look outside at the airport right now because people are trying to get home. They're trying to see their family. So let's check in now with Caroline Elliott, who is live at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, the busiest in the world. I can hear some of that nonsense behind you, those planes taking off. How is it so far, Caroline?
Yeah, Alex, so far things are pretty smooth here. We've got plenty of sunshine, blue skies behind us, so that makes for some pretty good weather, especially when you're trying to take a flight out of here. But depending on your destination, you could run into some trouble. We're starting to see some of those flight disruptions around the country, specifically in the Great Lakes region in Chicago and Minneapolis. We had a ground stop even in Chicago a little bit earlier today. And so those flight disruptions, unfortunately, delays, cancellations really starting to stack up in that region. On a day we're already seeing heavy traffic and airspace around the country. TSA will screen several million passengers between now and Sunday on what officials are calling the busiest Thanksgiving travel week in the last 15 years. There were some questions, though, on if airports would be ready after the government shut down, but it looks like some travelers have been pleasantly surprised, at least in some parts of the U.S.
A little anxious for sure.
We were nervous our flights would get canceled, but we just kept checking the status and it was good.
Hoping that it won't be that bad.
I wasn't worried. I'm not a worrier.
I mean, we expect it. We're Californians. We're used to it.
One thing passengers are not used to, though, is being told what they should or should not wear to the airport. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy told travelers to act a little more civil this year, which he says starts with your outfit. He asked passengers to leave the pajamas at home and maybe, just maybe, even put on some jeans.
Why? A lot more interesting stories in this world rather than worry about pajamas.
We left at 4 o'clock this morning. I'm not going to get up and do my face and put on a nice outfit.
I think it's disgraceful, and I think people need to look respectful
and decent. And speaking of things you should and should not do, the TSA is reminding us all what we can and cannot fly with from our kitchen. So you can fly with a turkey if that's your thing, baked goods and even stuffing, but wine, cranberry sauce, and gravy is apparently a no-go. Now, Alex, I'm not sure who would want to fly with a turkey, but the more you know.
I can think of a lot of people who would want to fly with the turkey, especially if they do it in some special way in their family. Hey, I've got two personal questions for you, Caroline. One, what are your Thanksgiving plans? Are you traveling today, tomorrow?
Yes, so unfortunately I am working on Thanksgiving, but I've already got those plans lined up for after work.
Okay.
I've already got my mom. She's gonna bring me some leftovers. So that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mary Elliott.
That's perfect, Mary. We appreciate your cooking.
Yes.
One more question for you. We were talking about these doorbusters. I'm on a mission to sniff out who they are. They're still out there, somebody. So I've seen someone on our Fox 5 Atlanta Facebook page, our YouTube channel, saying that they're going to stick with the online shopping. Are you going to be out there if you find some off time hitting the doorbuster deals?
Oh yeah, it will most likely be online. But no, this is listen, for the ladies, this is our Super Bowl, Alex. So I will not miss out. Never do.
Oh yeah, I am an online shopper, one of the worst offenders. So I'll spend some money this week, I'm sure.
Yes, it's pretty bad.
All right, Caroline, thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, you guys, I hope you'll stick around. We still have quite a bit to talk about this hour. We're going to be right back right after this. Welcome back to the stream, Fox 5 on Fox Local. I'm Alex Whitler. Thank you so much for being here, streaming us on fox5atlanta.com, the free Fox Local app, and participating in our news conversation on our Fox 5 Atlanta YouTube channel. So if there's a story here that you feel like commenting on, please do so. We'll see it in real time. If you have a question, we'll work to get some answers for you throughout the remainder of this newscast. That said, Black Friday is almost here. It's so close, it might as well be here. We are turning now to America's credit repairman, Paul Oster, with some ideas on how we can save some money as we shop for the holidays this time of year. Paul, good to see you.
Good to see you, and thanks for having me on.
Of course. So let's just start right here, right now, and address the elephant in the room. Are the deals we're seeing on Black Friday actually worth the money that we end up spending?
Listen, you could call it Black Friday, White Friday, Red Friday. It already started. The holiday creep now starts weeks or months before the actual Black Friday that we're all so accustomed to. So unless you use some type of price tracker and trend, then it's impossible to know, are you really getting the best deal? And should you be cramming all of your shopping into a 24-hour period? And I caution consumers before they do that, and make sure that they can actually afford to buy one gift. If you have any credit card debt at all, some people are still paying off the gifts from last year. So you have to be really, really careful before spending another dime this year coming into the holiday season.
Oh, yeah, that's some really good information, and a reminder that debt does carry over. It doesn't care if it's been a year, 10 years, 5 years. So be smart with these purchases. Now, my toxic trait, Paul, is that I heard you say that we've been seeing these deals for weeks and months. Does that mean it's worth being the shopaholic who's constantly monitoring the prices?
Look, if it's a good deal, then take advantage of it. But what you just said about, the credit card debt, just think about this. If you have $5,000 in credit card debt, it could take you 20 years to pay that off if you're only making the minimum payment. So maybe this is the year that we set some reasonable expectations. Look, we've never been here before. People say it, all the time, Paul, we've been here. This is a different environment. When you talk about the macroeconomics, the inflation, the cost of goods and services, we might go into stagflation with a bad jobs market. Set some reasonable expectations. Maybe this is the year that we do very small gifts or no gifts at all. Go back to being, with a Secret Santa. If you host any events during the holidays, make it a potluck. Don't put it all on yourself. I mean, the prices of groceries are exponentially higher than they have been. So make it a potluck, make people bring some stuff. But you have to start with a firm spending budget and a cap. Then you fit everybody into that. Most people do it the opposite way. They come up with a list. But instead of a list, we should be coming up with a gift strategy, not a list. Here's the strategy. We start with the price. Then we go to category, and then we fit their names into that. If you do it the reverse way, you can wind up in January, February with a really bad debt hangover, and you don't want that.
Yeah, we certainly don't. So how do you come up with that budget? A lot of people struggle with that, not just from being a young person, but as adults. They're struggling with trying to come up with a budget themselves.
Yeah, don't feel bad as a young person. Most adults, look, I've been doing this for 20 years. Most adults still don't have, let's start with a household budget, not just the holidays, but we should be running our homes like a small business. You need to know how much money's coming in, what's our revenue, and then what's our expenses? And most people don't track the expenses, and that's where the real problem comes. And coming into the holidays, you need to know, can I afford an extra $200, $300, $500. And when it comes to your children, I know this is a special time of the year, but come up with the 3 gift rule. Something that they need to start with, something that they want, and something that they would read or experience. Take them to a museum, take them to a park, take them to the beach. I don't care what the experience is, but those are the things, the types of memories that they remember. They're not going to remember, I say G.I. Joe, whether you bought them a gift last year. Ask the people on your list if they remember what you bought them last year. The answer is usually no. I've done this survey for the past 20 years, and it's hold true for the past 20 years. People don't remember your gifts. They remember the gift of time. Have a dinner party where, again, it's potluck. People bring their own favorite dishes. Plan a movie night. Plan a travel experience in the future so you can defer the expenses. Because right now we're all crunched. It's already a really bad time in our economy. Now coming into this holiday season, we need to defer the expenses so we don't wake up with the holiday hangover.
Whoa, that was like some life-changing information there. I like that. Something your kid needs, something they want, and then an experience. And for you to say that you've surveyed people and they don't even remember what they've gotten as a gift, again, another pivotal tip there. Sounds like I'm going to make some adjustments myself, so we appreciate it.
You will not be kicked out of your friend group. You will not be ostracized by your friends and family if you just say, hey, this year, let's spend some time together. Let's not buy each other a gift that we don't really need in the first place. And if you're going to do something, if you want to do something, make it, again, a gift of your time. Make them something that you know that they like, instead of just giving, God forbid you give them a gift card that means nothing. Right? That's the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Give them something that they can appreciate and that will last forever.
Gosh, you've been great. Thank you so much, Paul. I have a feeling we'll have you back on sometime soon. Enjoy the holidays. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving and enjoy your holiday.
I will. I will enjoy every second of it. I'm off tomorrow. Thank you, Paul. Okay, let's go ahead and pivot. But sticking on that holiday theme, you've heard of Black Friday. How about Small Business Saturday? We've got Chris Rosenthal in Smyrna talking with several different people with some ideas on how else you can incorporate your dollars into the local economy. Hey, Chris.
Hey, good morning. So, yeah, it's Small Business Saturday is coming up. I know we're all getting ready to spend money on Black Friday and on Cyber Monday, but don't count out Small Business Saturday. Small Business Association estimates that in 2024 alone, Americans spent about $22 billion at small businesses. These are all kinds of shops and restaurants in your community, and I'm in one of those communities. I'm in Smyrna now, where we have a little bit of everything: gift shops and beer markets and restaurants here at Smyrna Market Village. But I'm joined right now by Andrea Worthy. We're going to take a little walk here. She is with the City of Smyrna, and tell me a little bit about what you guys have going on Saturday.
Yeah, so the Smyrna Business Association a couple years ago launched a Shop Smyrna Saturday in honor of the Small Business Saturday. And so we're encouraging folks to come out and shop, eat, and enjoy themselves in downtown Smyrna.
Yeah, and there's a variety of shops. I mean, this is one right here. We can just kind of peek in right here. This is
Junkies. This is a great little store that just opened in downtown Smyrna, but shows you an example of great stocking stuffer type items you can be buying all of your friends and family.
Yeah, all kinds of great little things here, and we got earrings here and shirts and all kinds of holiday things, and we were kind of admiring the cornhole sets as well. But yeah, and we walk around and we can go across here, and what else do we have here?
So here in Smyrna, a lot of our shops that are participating in Shop Smyrna Saturday, we've got a beer market, the Stout Brothers Beer Market. You can come over here to Conceit Nail Salon and get your nails done. A little advantage for anyone who may shop is that you will be entered to win a gift card if you scan a QR code at participating shops here. So it's bring your family out. You know they're going to be bored on Saturday. They're tired of hanging out with you inside. The weather's going to be beautiful. We also have a great little shop down here at the end for your dogs and cats called Liquors and Wines. So these are some of the great shops we have here. Come get your nails done at Conceit.
And this is really, this is just a nice place to walk around, nice place to be. It's not just about spending the money, it's about the experience, getting something to eat and coming around and talking about that.
Yes. You can come down here to downtown Smyrna, and this is the way people like to shop in small businesses. That's the reason you're not shopping at Amazon or you're not shopping at a Costco. Wonderful stores, but here it's the experience of meeting folks and getting some unique items to be able to share with people, unique gifts. So right here at Liquors and Wines, we have them painting up and getting ready for the holiday season. So this is a great little pet store to come get your favorite family member a gift for the holidays.
Business-wise, what does this mean to these small businesses and your local community?
It means a lot. These retailers, generally speaking, it is the biggest season of the year for them between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It gets really kind of quiet after the holidays, especially for some of our restaurants. So this is a big time. Come out and support them. The reality is small businesses need your support. You want most small businesses and unique things in your community. You have to go out and support the ones that are already there.
And I checked the weather, Alex, and the weather on Saturday looks pretty nice. So good day to come on out and spend an afternoon or morning here. And these businesses, many of them will be open starting even on Friday, right?
Yes, most of our folks open on Friday, so you can make a Shop Smyrna Saturday last all weekend or all year for that matter. We have them participating here in downtown, but also citywide. I have some our oldest business, Vickery Hardware. It's been open 75 years. They'll be operating and giving away some giveaways for Shop Smyrna Saturday. So come shop, come check out the website and the social medias for both the city and the Smyrna Business Association, and you can find out who's participating.
And then Tuesday as well, you've got something.
Oh yeah, that's big. Santa is arriving on Tuesday night here in Smyrna Market Village. The festivities start around 5 o'clock, and Santa will be helping the mayor light the big tree.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
And we got the tree there, and we got Santa's sleigh already. So
it looks perfect out there. I love the bows on the light fixtures. It really is gorgeous to see that gigantic ornament already set up, just waiting for Santa to perch himself in that sleigh. Chris, it's a great time already. We appreciate it. Okay, stay with us because we still do have quite a bit to talk about. We're checking back in with how things are looking in the holiday travel realm, and we're circling back on some more deals and steals for you, so stay with us. Welcome back, everyone, to Fox 5 on Fox Local. Thank you so much for being here and streaming with us and all of our free ways to do so. Fox5Atlanta.com, the Fox Local app, and the Fox 5 Atlanta YouTube channel. So please, if you see a story on here that resonates with you, leave me a comment and I can respond in real time. That said, it is a busy time of year. So many of you are taking to the skies trying to see your loved ones. So let's check in now with Fox 5's Tyler Fingard. I have dubbed you, Tyler, as one of our airport correspondents because you're always there any other time of the year, but especially now. So how are things looking at the world's busiest airport?
Well, Alex, you said it exactly right. World's busiest airport. We know that that is a fact. However, if you take a look behind me, it really does not look much like the world's busiest airport. This is the main security checkpoint here, and on what is expected to be an extremely busy day here at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, we're looking at wait times of just about 6 minutes to go through TSA, which is fantastic news. Things are going very well here right now. According to FlightAware.com, we're looking at just over 75 delays so far today and 0 cancellations. The FAA anticipates more than 360,000 flights this week, and the agency predicts this will be the busiest travel period in 15 years. However, we do know that Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport officials do not expect this Thanksgiving travel period to be their busiest ever, and thanks in part to the government shutdown they told us last week. Severe weather across the country could shake things up a bit, and it already did yesterday in Atlanta after a thunderstorm hit the area. A ground stop here at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport yesterday delayed hundreds of flights by the end of the day. This morning, my colleague, Fox 5 News anchor and reporter Caitlin Pratt talked to some travelers about their trips. Take a listen to what they had to say.
I'm headed to Massachusetts, headed home to go see my family. I haven't been home in a while, so I need to go hug and love on my mother and my nieces and my nephews. This weekend, I planned our family potluck dinner, and so going home to help decorate, set that up, and get things ready for the holidays, for Thanksgiving.
Is the family time number one on the list? You know what I'm saying? Folks that you haven't seen, like I haven't seen my my grandson's grandfather in, I guess, about maybe going on 5 years now, so it'll be a nice little reunion.
And overnight, a KLM flight to Amsterdam was canceled after a passenger triggered a security scare opening an exit door while the plane taxied to the runway. Atlanta police say the 47-year-old man called 911 from inside the aircraft, reporting that he believed another traveler had a weapon on board. Investigators said the man appeared to panic, opened an emergency exit door, and deployed the inflatable slide last night. Airport police took him into custody and said he appeared to be experiencing a mental health episode. He was evaluated by medics before being charged with reckless conduct, criminal damage to property, and interfering with security measures. He was later transported to the Clayton County Jail. I just spoke to passengers who were on board that flight about the scary situation and now the delay to their Thanksgiving travel. Take a listen to what the family told me.
Sat down in our seat, and this guy, apparently he was just having a lot of problems, and then he said somebody had a gun on board. He was really loud, so we could all hear it.
Things kind of escalated quickly, and he ran, and they pounced on him, but he had already opened the door to the aircraft.
Yeah, definitely a very scary situation that passengers had to deal with on their flight to Europe last night. That flight ended up being canceled. That family trying to get to where they want to go for the Thanksgiving holiday got delayed a day. They fly out this afternoon. This time, though, they get to fly a direct flight to Paris instead of having to connect through Amsterdam. So a silver lining there, but they are thankful that all of this happened on the ground and not in flight, when situation could have been a little more precarious if they weren't able to get back to the gate quickly. Alex, I think anyone who would be traveling this time of year, you know, your nerves are a little higher possibly just because of different things that may happen. Obviously, less people, business travelers, you have people who are doing more leisure travel for vacation who may not be in the airport as often. So that obviously adds some stress for people. The situation, though, incredibly scary for anyone on board. I travel a decent amount, and that would have probably been a scary situation that I would have been a little concerned about. Thankfully, though, police were able to intervene and make an arrest here, but unfortunately that flight was canceled after that emergency exit door was opened and a slide was deployed. So definitely a different situation for this Thanksgiving for that family that they will likely never forget, Alex.
Gosh, a little scared. I would be very scared if something like that were to happen on my flight home. So I'm glad that they are, as you said, getting their direct flight to Paris. Not a bad move by any means. Tyler, thank you. We do, though, have some other holiday topics to discuss this time. We're pivoting back to the shopping situation. So holiday shoppers are expected to turn out in record form this year. We'll talk about that in a moment, but it sounds like we're going to go ahead and take a pause. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's stay on top of that holiday spending report, shall we? We know many of you have a lot of people that you're shopping for. Earlier in this news conversation, we talked about ways to save money, ways to budget during the holiday shopping season. Now we are pivoting to another expert. We've got Elizabeth Ayola here from NerdWallet to talk about your personal finances in what can be a very stressful time of year. Elizabeth, good to see you.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. So give us your spiel, just right off the top. What is it that people really need to know before they start filling the tree, if you will?
Well, the first thing is it's not too late to start budgeting, especially if you're late to the party like me and are a last-minute shopper. So things that you should be looking for when you're budgeting include your income, your expenses, and your debt. And people should be honest with themselves and ask themselves whether they can afford to spend the amount that they plan to spend. Our holiday spending report actually found that 74% of shoppers plan to use credit cards for gift buying this season, but many are still carrying debt from last year and even previous years before.
I'm looking at my notes here, and it says 2025 holiday shoppers could spend $182 more on average for presents compared to last year. So I just want to acknowledge the obvious here. Is that because of inflation, tariffs, both? What do you make of it?
Yeah, both. So as we know, some of us have already started feeling the impacts of tariffs. Also, cost of living, expenses have gone up. And for some people, their income hasn't gone up. So they plan to spend more for some of these reasons. Yeah.
Okay. So as we continue to keep that in mind, is it worth saving the money? I want to compare notes. I've heard, and if you guys were watching, you know where I'm going with this, that it might be better to buy people what they need over what they want. What do you make of it?
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. And in addition to that, I think some people may be scared to set boundaries or put too much pressure on themselves during the holidays to buy all of these things for people. Like you said, whether it's wants or needs, but it's also important to let people know where you are financially and not overspend. Because while we are in a cheerful mood and the holidays are a great time to give, the new year is a couple of weeks away. And if you end up overspending, you're going to be faced with all of that debt come the new year.
Yeah, and nobody wants that. We all want to feel like we're starting anew, starting fresh come January 1, maybe even sooner if we can. So that's a really important note. I want to talk about these buy now, pay later offers. They were great when they first came out because they weren't affecting people's credit. But now I believe that has changed.
That's right. So in the fall, FECO does factor in some people's buy now, pay later activities. Some FECO models do. So it's an important reminder for people to budget, even if you are going to use these buy now, pay later loans. Make sure that you can afford the loans that you're using, because if you miss a payment, it can negatively impact your credit score. People also want to avoid what's called buy now, pay later loan stacking, which is when you're taking out multiple loans at once, because again, it's an easy way for you to spiral and snowball into debt.
And you can forget, right? I mean, sure, they offer you the email, they offer you the text message, but a lot of us get tired of having to delete our inboxes, right, to clear it up. So then you end up missing some important reminder there. So it's best to do one at a time.
Exactly. Do one at a time. And again, while it's great to be kind and give during the holidays, I don't think it's worth getting into debt over. So give what you can, maybe focus more on experiences than expensive gifts. Also, I know someone who's buying people secondhand gifts, especially for her kids. There's so many toys that are, gently worn that you can buy. So just look for ways to do things in a budget-friendly way.
Yeah, and people know their families, right? There are some kids that are very inquisitive. Others won't know the difference if it was used or not. So can we just have a human moment here? How do you suggest parents talk to their kids or guardians talk to their kids about if Christmas or other holidays might look a little different this year?
I love this question because I personally am a mom and I love talking to my son. He is 8, about money generally. The thing is, he has experiences and I buy him things all throughout the year. So I try not to focus too much on when the big holidays come around. I also teach him gratitude. I talk to him about being thankful for the things that he has. Sometimes we focus on experiences more than things. And also every time that I step on a toy, I remind him that that's why he doesn't need 10 more, because he's not playing with the ones that he already has. So it can also be a good chance chance to talk to kids about budgeting, you don't want to give them a scarcity mindset. So you don't want to constantly tell them we don't have enough, but you want to help them see the difference between needs versus wants, and also that you don't need to have everything at once.
Yeah, that scarcity mindset, that's really important because it starts with childhood, how kids view money and finances. So if we can find a way that starts a healthy relationship with spending, that's best. Is there anything else, Elizabeth, that you wanted to add about holiday spending that I did not ask you?
Yeah, there is one more thing or a little hack I will say that maybe people can consider, and that's using cashback reward credit cards or debit cards that offer rewards during the holidays. I personally have one, and if you plan ahead, we will have holidays again next year. You can kind of just put away that money, all those rewards that you get throughout the year, and then use them for holiday spending. Or in the reverse, when you're buying all those gifts this month and next month, you can use that extra money to re-up your emergency savings account, or pay down some existing credit card debt, or even just to save for a rainy day for something else.
Oh yeah, I just learned something new about one of my credit cards. You can pay yourself back with points. So let's suppose I put $50 on to pay for gas. I can use some of my points that I've already accrued to pay myself back, so then my balance is back down to zero. That's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very savvy.
All right, Elizabeth, we appreciate your tips. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, I've basically dubbed this hour our holiday hour because we ping pong back and forth between the travel, the holiday weather, and the holiday transportation. So that said, we wanted to view that live look outside at current travel conditions at the downtown connector, I-75, I-85. Traffic definitely building, but moving. So listen to this. The Atlanta Department of Transportation, or ATL DOT, will impose a Thanksgiving holiday moratorium. They're going to pause lane, road, and sidewalk closures to provide the public with access to all roads within the city of Atlanta. You know that's a big deal because our traffic is not pretty on any given day. And you can imagine with all those people out there on the roads for the holiday, it could be even worse. So the city of Atlanta is trying to get rid of any issues and get rid of the construction. I also want to point out that President Donald Trump has pardoned 2 feathered friends. I think this is the funniest thing. Their names. They are Gobble and Waddle. They were pardoned yesterday. They got a whole new outlook on life recently, just given immunity. They're going to spend the rest of their days on some sort of a farm, if you will, in North Carolina, so they don't have to worry about ending up in your belly or someone else's. That is some welcome news to report. And again, the names, they just tickle me. I don't remember the last time a presidential pardon of a turkey stood out to me so much, all because of the names. And typically, it's just one turkey, if memory serves. So Gobble pulled Waddle to the side and said, hey, live a long life with me. I love that for them. That said, I do want to acknowledge those of you who have been in our Fox 5 Atlanta YouTube channel. You've been commenting. You've been very attentive to what's been taking place. I see you guys are very concerned for that nonverbal missing teenager from Baldwin County. I appreciate you guys leaving your comments here saying that you hope that Jeffery Epps is found soon. I want to just remind you as I do a service here to be on the lookout for him. He's about 5 feet 3 inches tall. He weighs about 135 pounds. Here is a photo of him. Search teams have deployed every available resource, including canines, thermal drones, etc. Think helicopters, ATVs, UTVs. They're doing a grid search, combing wooded areas here. Officials say those crews will continue searching for as long as they need to find him. You're looking at some of those resources on your screen here. You see the cars are just layering the roadway. That's how many people are out here trying to make sure this young man, this teenager who's living with autism, can spend the holidays with his family. I can just imagine that they are on pins and needles. So there are a whole bunch of emergency agencies involved here. We're talking about Baldwin County Fire, Baldwin County Sheriff's Office. I've got notes here in front of me to make sure that I'm mentioning each agency that is caring for this situation. We've got Milledgeville Police, the Atrium EMS, Georgia State Patrol, the Georgia DNR, Wilkinson County Fire, and Baldwin County EMA. So if you're curious about what you can do, Anyone who sees Jeffrey, naturally call 911. That's just the first thing right out the gate. Or you can call the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office at 478-445-4891. And I'll say that again for you in case you're curious. It's 478-445-4891. In fact, if I'm able to, I can pull that up on the screen. Perfect. So you've got it available to you. I just want to do one more pulse check to see how you guys are doing there in our Fox 5 Atlanta YouTube channel. If you had any comments, questions, or concerns, now would be a great time to bring them forward. I say that this is a news conversation because it is. When you leave us a comment, we can respond in real time. We do, though, want to pivot and get back to some local news that has really shaken up a neighborhood. There was a stabbing in Atlanta, and Fox 5's Mark Teichner has been on top of it for us. So let's listen in. So it sounds like we were having some technical difficulties with that report. I'll try to get you some information on it when we return right after this. Well, everyone, if you were with us just a moment ago, you heard we had some technical difficulties as we were trying to tell you some more about this stabbing that happened. I can give you a quick update on that right now. It happened at a luxury high-rise complex on Park Avenue. Man was stabbed to death inside that Buckhead property. We know that officers responded around 12:30 in the morning to the Huntley Apartments, where they found a man in his 20s or early 30s dead in a hallway from a chest wound. That is a developing story. As soon as we get more information on it, we'll be sure to let you know. You can tune in to Fox 5 News at noon to see any latest information on that. And that starts right after this break. See you then.